Hello.
Okay, is it working? Is it working?
Yeah, I think it's working. We're here.
Okay, all right. Sick.
Oh, what is happening, guys? We are back with a brand new episode to bring to the masses.
No, it's true. Every Friday, that's us.
Oh, can you possibly believe it? Because we are here, and this is... We are starting
a cult. That's great. I'm Jake.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah.
He is Jake, and I am Jake. And then... That's all we have.
Yeah.
It's
just me, but it's you.
It would be
at
cool
home.
if we both had the same name, just for the
That
sake
would
of
be
the show.
so confusing. I feel like we just wouldn't be able to have a podcast.
Probably not. No, we probably couldn't do it. Oh man!
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry for
This computer is on fucking life support.
Yeah,
This is nuts.
I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a piece of information here. The system that we operate on this podcast, this computer, it was made in
2007?
probably 2000. Yeah, probably 2007.
And we just use Audacity. There's a lot of... It's not very good.
No, there's a lot of things like that you might have just heard.
Yeah.
That was
We'll turn off that.
yeah, that was a little.
That.
I'm not gonna. We're not gonna edit these out, okay, guys? I hope you understand that.
Fuck it. We're just gonna give you... Oh, there it is again. Okay, it should stop now.
Yeah, we're here to. I don't know. This computer is not great.
I'm all thrown off my game, man. I'm chewing gum. I feel like I should be talking faster.
We've been
It's
losing
weird.
audio, but it's running pretty smooth right now. Don't worry, the show must go on, as they say.
Yeah, because we have some crazy shit to talk about.
Yeah, so if you could not tell, we are here to talk about some of the weirdness that happens in the national parks of the United States.
I thought you were going to ask him not to tell anyone how shitty our equipment is.
Don't do that either. Like, don't go
If you
around.
could just not tell anyone about that, that would be amazing.
It'd be cool if you guys, didn't let everybody know that we're just, doing this in the most janky fashion that could possibly happen. That would be ideal. It would absolutely be ideal. But that's not what I was saying.
We're the DIY scene of the podcast world.
We are honestly we are.
Our mics are hooked to fucking luggage still.
That is true.
Those are our mic stands.
And there's pieces missing from this one.
Yeah, that one's unzipped. It's all wobbly.
Yeah, it's not a great setup.
You took mine on a trip, and now I have this little tiny one. So
yeah, I'll tell you this: if there was ever an award for podcasts that got done with little to no input on the not talking about the show itself, but the actual recording process. If there was a negative award for the worst possible recording process, we would definitely be nominated.
Most inept podcasters who still have podcasts.
Oh, 100%. We would be on that list in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
We might even sweep the Emmys that year if that was part of the thing.
The potties.
But
we should call them the potties. I like that.
The potties. Oh, we're not going to win.
I got a potty.
Oh, but we are going to talk and have a little chat with you guys today about some weird shit that goes down in the national parks. I mean,
yeah,
it's just
there's so many weird things. National park fuckery is abound.
Yeah,
in the U.S.
It really is. Some of it is semi-explainable. Some of it is not. Some things are just laws that never were and probably should have been. All in all, it's just a really strange fucking thing that we deal with.
Yeah.
But I think you guys are going to like it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty chill, I'd say, if you want to use that word.
Yeah, I just got 3 little stories, each one shorter than the last.
Oh, God.
What about you? What do you got this week?
What do I got? I got a couple little things. I got some details I think that could be interesting at the very least.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to that, but it's definitely an interesting little tidbit of info.
Okay.
And then I'm going to talk about some possible feral humans.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nell. Like Nell.
Sort of, yeah, but it's just a lot scarier. But yeah, that's what we got going on today.
Yeah, okay. There's no weird ethical questions within a movie about it.
No.
Sexually.
No, not
You
like that.
seen that movie? That's fucked up.
Wait, oh, Nell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They're
that
swimming
movie.
together. That dude who's just like, I know exactly what I'm doing. It's just like, oh, God, get away from her, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to take a minute. It's very unrelated to the show.
Okay.
Well, not to this episode it is, but not to the show itself.
Okay.
The Georgia Guidestones, for those of you out there that are aware of that.
They were fucking boomed, man.
Yeah, they were blown up by a vandal, and then they decided that they were in no condition to still be around, and they removed the rest of them.
That's exactly what they wanted.
Kind of.
That's exactly what the criminal wanted.
It's a little weird. It's a little fucking weird.
I feel like, weren't they like associated with like satanic things in some people's eyes or something?
The Christians said that.
Yeah, it's probably a Westboro thing.
Mostly because it really what the point of the Guidestones were if the world were to end or we were in some form of apocalypse or pre-civilization, they were like the very, very basic yet essential rules that could be followed in order to sustain society again.
Oh, so the Christians probably thought that we were stealing their like Ten Commandment idea.
I'm not entirely
just putting
sure,
it on
but I
something
know
else.
it was written. Don't quote me on the numbers specifically, but I want to say it was written in like 12 different languages as well. And it was America's Stonehenge, you know?
Something just ultimately helpful and like neutral.
Yeah, just
the rest
cool.
of the time.
Just cool to like fucking have on hand, and it was like, nah,
Yeah.
they're gone.
Better get rid of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's something we'll probably talk about in like the Patreon episode, I assume.
We'll dive into
Yeah,
it.
a little bit more, but just wanted to throw that out there for our listeners if you didn't hear that.
Well, I have a little conspiracy around that.
Oh, all
Because
right.
James Caan died yesterday. I'm pretty sure he may have kamikazed it.
Oh, you know who
I
else?
think they're connected.
You know, we might be actually breaking the news on this one. Do you know who actually died about an hour ago?
Who?
Paulie from The Sopranos.
No fucking way.
Yeah, Paulie's dead.
Fuck, I just finished The Sopranos.
Paulie, he's fucking dead.
God damn it, dude.
How about
Fuck.
that? Huh?
No, I hate that. How old was he?
I didn't even look, to be honest.
Oh, he was too young, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Fucking Paulie. Well, god damn it. You want to talk about some national parks?
I'd say let's do
All
it.
right, let's fucking do it. The United States of America. It has a pretty impressive amount of national parks, 423 to be exact. And they take up a total of 84 million acres. All right, an insane amount of land. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Well, with all that land, some pretty crazy stories and unexplainable phenomenon is bound to surface at some point, right? Well, it has. All right, and we're here to discuss it. Just a handful of these experiences and cases. I can't stress enough the usage of the term handful. Right? Because it's like we can't. If we talked about all of them, we'd be talking for the rest of the time. Anyway, here we go. So, by the way, I got a lot of these stories from like first-hand accounts of like anonymous people and like general story just from YouTube.
Those are some of the
Like
best
the
stories,
internet.
though.
Exactly. So, what do you want? You want to go first? You want me to go first? What do you want?
I don't really care. How about you? You pick. You decide who goes today.
All right. I'll go.
Oh, all right. I like that.
All right. You holding it against me for choosing myself?
Kind of. You
All
selfish fucking
Yeah,
dick. No.
I knew it. I'm glad it's out in the open.
No, we're good. We're good.
There once was a man named Spencer, and he had a girlfriend. What do you think?
End of story.
End of story.
This guy sounds incredibly unique.
Yeah, right.
Already.
He's Spencer. He has a girlfriend. The two of them, they decided it was time to get away from the humdrum of the everyday life, you know. And they decided to go camping in the Smoky Mountain National Forest. I've been there.
Oh, yeah?
Have you been to the Smokies?
No, I haven't. I have not.
All I remember is a trail with a bunch of snails on it, and walking over a pit of bears in a cage,
Oh.
throwing them apples. They were very fat and didn't look happy.
All right.
So that's my memory of the Smoky Mountains. But, all right, so the part of the park that they were exploring was that of a valley with a stream running through it. All right, pretty beautiful. Campsites and regularly trekked trails were all along either side of the stream, right? The two hiked a good amount and decided to set up a campsite on the west side of the stream in a vacant picnic area.
Okay.
Little did they know that this was one of the least occupied and remote areas of the park, despite there being, like, picnicking areas.
Ooh, all right.
So no one's going to come around here, theoretically. No one ever stopped here for more than, like, a few minutes at most. And even then, it was primarily during the day. So they're at night. They're not going to come across anyone.
All right.
The couple set up camp. They started a fire. They cooked dinner. It was great. It was just normal. It was, camping. And around 10 o'clock p.m., they had finished dinner, and they were just relaxing, when they heard a howl.
Oh.
Exactly. This was no ordinary howl, all right? Spencer claimed that he will never forget it. The howl was longer than anything he'd ever heard. Mournful, deep. It was like, oh, I don't know how it would sound. Like, oh. It was, metal screams, something like that. And it would seem to be coming from every direction at once, all right? They couldn't pinpoint this thing. The howl was so deep that Spencer claims he felt it in his chest and ears.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy? Dude, you knew Mr. Harmon in fucking high school, right? The band director?
Yes.
He would always describe, like, tubas, like the sounds of tubas in jazz as, like, peanut butter on your chest. And I couldn't think of anything but that in this moment.
I like that peanut butter.
It's like chunky peanut butter just all over your chest. But anyway, yeah, so it was a deep-ass howl. And Spencer's girlfriend basically demanded that they go into the safety of the tent, in quotations, safety. It was synthetic safety. So regardless, Spencer, he obliged in an attempt to comfort her. And the comfort of the tent didn't drown out the continuous howling, however. And the two still could not seem to place the direction of it. So again, it was seeming like it was coming from all around them. It was louder than anything that they had ever heard from an animal. The couple began hearing movement outside their tent shortly after.
Oh,
the howls were still going on. Spencer's girlfriend started to get very uncomfortable, and so Spencer, he went outside. Right, he went outside of the tent to investigate with a flashlight and his trusty Glock 19. He's fully equipped. He found nothing visibly moving, but he could see like no sign of like tracks or the like, But the sound of something moving still remained along like the periphery of the campsite.
Okay.
All right.
Just a little bit, a little periphery vision.
A little periphery action. It was almost as if whatever was out there was kind of toying with the couple, kind of playing with them like so many toys. All right? And that's when Spencer smelled the foulest stench he had ever had the displeasure of sniffing.
Poop.
Maybe it was poop.
It was poop.
It was poop. All right, Spencer, he claimed that he smelled some sort of amplified version of rotting flesh and sulfur. I'm kind of interested in as to why he knows what rotting flesh smells like.
I think that's like...
Maybe it's like a hunter thing, hopefully.
I think that's like a human thing. Like nowadays, when you smell something... Ever since the Black Plague, whenever you smell something that... There's two camps, all right, when it's a bad smell. It either smells like shit, or if it's worse than that, it smells like rotten flesh. Like, that's like the two basic categories of bad smells.
Yeah.
It's poop and rotten skin.
And if you get like an unattended dead body, voids the bowels, starts rotting, you got a mixture there. You got a little cocktail of badness for your nose.
Like, think about the descriptions of bad smells. A lot of times, it's either related to feces in one way or a corpse in another. Like... Those are the two easiest descriptions. Even if you don't know what it is, you know that it's not good.
You're like, this is eggs and fecal matter. And also, this has been sitting out way too long. And sulfur. Rotting flesh and sulfur is what he smells.
Yeah, everything is bad.
Yeah, none of it's really good. A mixture he'd never smelled before or since. So that's good in a way, You know what you're missing, but it's a bad thing, so it's like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's a one and done, that's cool.
It was pervasive, to say the least, all right? It literally burned his nostrils and made him gag.
Huh.
So the smell seemed to be most pungent on the east side of the tent. But just like the howling, it was like strangely impossible to pinpoint the source.
Okay.
All right. Spencer claimed that the accompaniment of his gun made him far more brave in this moment than he would have been without it. You know, that makes sense. He continued to scan the periphery of the campsite with a flashlight until it fell on a large, imposing shadow of a bipedal being.
Ooh, we're getting good now.
Once the light was shone upon the creature, it seemed to turn as if it was startled and found out by Spencer, you know. The immediate and instinctual reaction of Spencer in this moment was to jump straight into the opening of the tent beside him. So he just kind of like dove.
Fuck it. You can't see it. It can't see you, you know? Fuck it.
Diving with a gun. It's badass. He was instinctually under the impression that this thing was not human, nor was it his friend. Spencer's girlfriend looked at him as if he was insane, she thought, you know? Though Spencer refused to say what he'd seen outside.
Oh.
He held the zipper closed to the tent with one hand, and he clutched his gun with the other. Silent and horrified in anticipation for whatever was going to happen next. But luckily, whatever was out there did not approach them after that.
Well, that's good.
He's afraid of tents. It seems like he was afraid of tents.
The cloth tarp was too much for him to deal with.
How could you thwart a canvas of such magnitude?
You can't.
Yeah, exactly. All sound left the forest, though. It was kind of creepy, you know? And all that could be heard for hours afterward was something moving around in the brush along the periphery. I use periphery so much in these fucking notes. I don't know why.
It's all right.
Of their campsite. So Spencer and his girlfriend, they stayed up all night, too scared to fall asleep. And once the daylight broke, the two packed up and got the fuck out of there. All right?
Good for them.
Yeah, Spencer claims that it was the most unforgettable part of the experience was the ungodly smell that pervaded the scene.
Okay.
He claimed that the smell specifically will haunt him forever.
That's interesting. That's like some, whether if you subscribe to that or not, that's like some demonic level shit, you know?
It is. Yeah, rotting flesh and sulfur, it's just hell.
Yeah.
Literally.
That is quite demonic if that's what you're into, you know?
If that's what you're in for.
That's your kind of bag. But yeah. That's a little bipedal monster action going on in the Smokies.
That is the Smoky Mountains.
That's...
So what you can look forward to in Smoky Mountains is large bipedal things that smell bad. Snails.
Right.
And fat bears that you give apples to.
Fat bears, snails, and bipedal demons. All fucking chilling together in the mountains.
There you go.
God, that's awful.
So, yeah, that's my first story. I got a couple more. Why don't you take it?
God, that's awful. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I'm going to talk about something that has been, I won't say highly publicized, but it's definitely gathered some attention in the last decade or so.
Some folks, they're gone.
Not that yet. Not
that yet.
We'll get there. We're gonna get
Well,
there.
just take that as a general statement.
Yeah. But right now, you may or may not be aware of this, and I'm gonna give you the real nitty-gritty details on it now. The Yellowstone Zone of Death. All right.
Damn, what a title.
The Zone of Death. So this is a real place. And it's quite interesting. This is all from a logistics standpoint. There's no specific story or detail. It's more of just a technicality that exists.
Okay.
So it is a 50 square mile part of Yellowstone National Park, which resides right on the edge of Idaho. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, potatoes.
And it is home to one of the biggest purported loopholes in the Constitution of the United States of America.
Oh shit. Okay.
And this would be, theoretically, in the Zone of Death of Yellowstone, no crime is illegal.
So it's not even crime.
Yeah, there is no crime in this 50 square mile part of the park.
Oh, dude, you want to go there?
No.
Well, maybe I should learn about it before.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But
tell me more about this place.
So,
I kind of want to go anyway.
You might be asking yourself, how the fuck is this possible? I'm going to go ahead and give you these details. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for the details.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
So, the United States District Court for the District of Wyoming is currently the only United States District Court that has jurisdiction over parts of multiple states. This is because this district court includes all of Yellowstone National Park. Okay? So they're in charge of all that. And if you didn't know this, it extends slightly over Wyoming's border into Idaho and Montana. Okay?
Yeah, a lot of geysers there.
Yeah. Obviously, as well as this, the federal government holds exclusive jurisdiction over all national parks. So, crimes that are committed in the park cannot be prosecuted under any state law. All right?
What about federal law?
They can under federal law, but not state law.
Okay, all right.
So, now this is where it gets interesting. Trials in the district court are typically held at the federal courthouse in Cheyenne, Wyoming. However, because of the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which decrees that juries in a federal criminal case must be made up of citizens who are from both the district and the state where the crime was committed. Okay?
Oh, shit. All right.
Because of this, charges for a crime that were alleged to have been committed in the zone of death in Idaho would have to be tried before a jury consisting entirely of residents of that area, and the trial would have to take place in that area. But Idaho has no jurisdiction over what happens in Yellowstone Park. That's Wyoming. So according to the Sixth Amendment, there are no locals because Wyoming has control, but it takes place in a different state. All right? You see where I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
Whew, okay.
So you just do whatever.
Yeah.
You party naked.
As the Idaho portion of this park is uninhabited, a jury of residents of both the state and the district could never possibly be. Though the Constitution does not guarantee the right to a jury trial, obviously that's like, smaller things.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have a jury involved.
Yeah.
But a defendant facing any felony or misdemeanor charge being unable to receive a constitutional trial could not be legally punished regardless of guilt or innocence.
Wow.
So because of this...
I'm just thinking, what if they made a jury up of, little tiny animals in the area?
They could.
Like a jury of owls and, muskrats. Maybe, a fox is at the end, and he's, always causing trouble trying to eat the other ones.
Yeah, he's fucking everything up. He's like, guilty.
It's a mistrial.
But yeah, so boiling it down into the most basic of points, for 50 miles outside of Wyoming, where Yellowstone stretches into Idaho, no one has jurisdiction. And in order for a trial, especially, like I said, with a felony or a misdemeanor, anything small like vandalism, stuff like that, you don't need a jury,
Yeah.
But any, legitimate crime that needs to be tried, in order for it to be seen as valid by the Constitution, there needs to be a jury. And since there's no one that lives in that area, and you're out of state, it technically cannot be a fair trial anywhere.
That's awesome.
So, you might be asking, how did this happen? Okay?
I'm more interested in what people have done with it.
Not as exciting as you think.
Oh, okay.
Not as
They're
exciting
just,
as you
chugging paint thinner and shit or something?
So, yeah, pretty much... I'm not going to save that for the
I'm going to go jaywalk.
Nothing illegal, technically, as far as anyone knows, ever happened there. It was found because of a man named Brian Colt, all right?
Okay.
So Brian Colt, he was working at the Michigan State University as a professor of law, okay?
Yeah.
And he was planning to write an essay about the different technicalities that go into the Sixth Amendment. And then leading into this, he was thinking about what if there was a place where the Sixth Amendment couldn't be applied? What if there could be?
Yeah.
So he's doing research, he's talking to colleagues, and he realizes, oh, fuck, that place does exist. Technically, by this law, this could not happen here. There's no fair trial.
Yeah. That's like when you come up with a great idea and then you look it up and someone has already made a market about it. Mm-hmm. And so you're pissed off.
So, what he did, Colt or Calt, it's K-A-L-T. I'm going to call it Calt. I like that more.
Yeah.
So Calt decided to shift his focus towards writing an essay that he would direct at the government, hoping to persuade them to fix the loophole. And in 2005, he published a story called The Perfect Crime in the Georgetown Law Journal. However, he was very nervous because he was like, if someone reads this shit and like finds this out, like this could be a problem. Okay.
Yeah, so he's like calling for its demise at the same time as he's telling everybody.
Yeah. So he worked and tried to get them to close the loophole, but Congress would not listen to him. They were like, yeah, shut the fuck up. So actually, an author named C.J. Box wrote a novel in 2007 called Free Fire, and it took place in the zone of death, and it was sort of a call to action to get it a little bit more popular and get people talking about it so they'd fix it.
Oh.
And it actually did work because the Wyoming senator, Mike Enzi, was brought to his attention, and he had trouble convincing Congress to get it changed. All right?
Congress needs it for their spirit cooking.
Sort of,
Maybe.
yeah.
I don't know. It could be.
Yeah. So pretty much what happened, nothing came of it, if you want to be honest.
It's just still the 50-mile square thing?
Yeah, the court dismissed the case. They said that they would not appeal the zone of death issue to the 10th Circuit. And they rendered it moot for the time being. So it's still something that's being talked about, but technically speaking, the zone of death is still a real place.
Yeah, it's on the back burner.
And the only crime that we know for a fact to have taken place there was by a man named Michael Beldarin.
Okay.
And this is kind of what brought it to the attention of the courts. He illegally shot an elk in that area, and they couldn't do anything about the poaching charges.
That's the only thing.
So
That's been done there?
Yeah.
People don't have, like, meth stands like kids have lemonade stands there? Come on.
Well, that's all we know as of right now. But, yeah, that's essentially the zone of death.
They just you in a cup of meth.
How about that,
A cup of meth, $700. I don't know the price points on meth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know either, but that's fine.
Well, yeah, kill an elk, huh? Damn.
How about that?
Well, that's fucking crazy. I had no idea that existed.
Oh, yeah, it's fucked up.
All right. Well, you want to hear a different story?
I do.
All right. Okay. All right. So this next story comes from a park ranger that wished to remain anonymous. All right. But also in telling this story, he wished to be called Steven. So maybe his name is Steven. I don't know. In 2011, Steven worked as a park ranger in Yosemite Valley. All right, and was one night driving through the area on a road called the North Side Drive, doing his rounds.
All right.
All right, so it's just a normal time. It was around 11:10 p.m., and Steven saw what he thought was a hiker, like a camper that had gotten lost and was possibly trying to flag down his truck. It was like off on the side of the road. He was like, hey, and then he pulls over, right? And he's somewhat discomforted almost immediately. All right, so let me clarify that this was nighttime, and it was indeed dark, but Steven made sure to note that things were somewhat illuminated by starlight and whatever, you know. So he could pretty much basically make out everything in his surroundings, totally.
Okay.
So Steven pulls over and is quickly realizing that something isn't right. Right, the figure he spotted stands up and appears to give off the general shape of a human being. Sick, you know, awesome. But what is unsettling is the fact that the figure seemed to have no features.
Ooh.
All right, no hair, no clothes, even shadows that would allude to like facial features or other features. None of that. All right. And this thing was simply the outline of a human being and nothing else.
That's sad.
And like I said, Steven is freaking out. All right, so what happens next doesn't quell any of his worries because the figure then slowly starts to fucking levitate several feet off of the ground, and it starts to hover towards his truck.
Good Lord. Oh, my God.
It's angelic almost, if it wasn't so terrifying. Yeah, so this thing, whatever it was merely like 30 yards away, give or take. So this was alarming. It was close to begin with. Steven, now in complete shock, just watching this thing come closer and closer to him. All right. So after about 25 feet or so, Steven claims that the figure still coming at him began to just dissipate and eventually completely disappeared.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Don't you just hate when that happens in Yosemite?
When fucking beings just dissipate in front of my fucking face.
After levitating and approaching you. So Steven, he can't believe his eyes. And his mind is racing with possibilities, explanations, all these different things, such as sleep deprivation. Maybe he was just going insane. These are the things in his mind.
Yeah, I can imagine.
He makes a beeline to the ranger station where he quickly pours himself a cup of coffee, obviously siding on the sleep deprivation angle in his mind, The proof that he indeed was not insane came the next morning when Steven decided to speak with some of the campers that were kind of posted up in the area the night before, do some groundwork.
Okay.
Many, if not all of the campers Steven spoke with claimed that there was some looming dark figure giving them trouble all night before.
Just
everyone.
Just causing a fucking rapscallion, tall fucking being.
Yeah.
The way out there like flipping cans and like folding up your chairs.
Yeah, the way I was like a lot of these like played out, it seems like he's just the Dennis the Menace of Shadowman.
All right, yeah, he's getting into things he has no business getting into, but he's doing it.
No, it's true. Yeah, check this out. One man, he claimed that the dark figure kept harassing he and his wife by circling their campsite and peering into their camper through the corners of their windows.
That's strange. I don't like that.
Yeah, just peering in there. Another woman claimed that she and her 3 kids were roasting marshmallows late into the night when one of her children pointed to the periphery of their campsite.
It's back.
It's back, dude. Periphery. The periphery of the campsite. The kid was like, oh, look at that. And there was a dark human-shaped figure. She claimed it had glowing red eyes, though. Isn't that terrifying? Ooh. But not other features aside from that, just a general outline of a human being. Pretty similar to what Steven saw, okay?
Okay.
She claimed to sense only pure evil coming from this figure and quickly gathered her children into the tent and waited with her pistol. All these people are fucking loaded.
Hell yeah, dude.
Locked and loaded.
Why
They're armed.
Fuck wouldn't you be packing something? You're going to a national park?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Fuck that. You don't know what's going on there.
So yeah, she has her kids. She has a pistol. She's good. Hoping things didn't progress in the way she feared. Luckily, that's where the account ends. But after hearing all these stories of campers in the area, Steven kind of felt slightly more grounded in reality, even though the story is completely fucked.
Yeah, he's like, I'm okay with this now. It's all right.
Thank God I'm not the only insane one, even if we are insane.
It is a comforting thought, though, for sure.
Just to not be alone.
To be experiencing something so strange and to realize that other people that you have no connection to and don't even know are experiencing similar things, it has to be very... It's got to make you feel better, at least,
It's kind of like, you're watching, like, cable television, And you don't tape the show, you're watching the commercials. Watching the commercials kind of makes you feel connected with other people, in a way. Wouldn't you agree?
You could talk about it at the water cooler on Monday, tell them, oh, did you see that commercial?
Well, there's that, but like the social aspect after. But like also just like while you're watching it, it's like, all right, other people are also watching this live. I'm not, in it alone.
I never really thought about that.
It's kind of comforting if you like get in that headspace.
It makes it a little bit more interesting. You're like, all right, I'm not the only one watching this. Okay.
Yeah.
I buy that.
Pretty sweet. But regardless, Steven, he remains anonymous to this day because he doesn't want people to think he's insane. Also, he may lose his job if that happens.
Why?
I don't know. Just like I saw some ghouls out there. Boss, you gotta believe me.
It's his fucking boss.
We gotta get Steven out of here.
His boss is like the mega skeptic. Like no, you're fucking nuts.
Like, it was a moose. It was definitely a moose.
Yeah, fucking Steve, you're fired for being a dumb idiot that's stupid.
Yeah. Idiot. I mean, either way, he's anonymous still, but good story.
That is.
Good story, Steve.
That's quite interesting. That is, I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah. I got one more, but it's like super, super small.
All right, I'm gonna pepper one in here real quick. I got a couple more. Mine all kind of revolve around the same thing, but I'm going to start with the
Mine
big
too.
one.
Yeah.
All right?
All mine are just figures.
So, mine is kind of moving into the camp of if you're on TikTok or if you're sort of into like the early stages of internet conspiracies, either it be, YouTube, like I said, TikTok, or some type of social media.
Yeah. The conspiracy that James Caan, kamikaze, the Georgia thing.
That's probably a unique one to just you. I'm not going to lie.
Fuck you, dude. There's a whole mass of people behind me. We all believe.
You're not alone.
We meet every Sunday.
It's just, it didn't even fucking happen on Sunday. It happened Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we'll come to the first meeting, Grant. If you want
Yeah,
to be a part of this.
It's potluck dinner.
Yeah, potluck dinner. We were part of this cult. I'm starting another one. How about that?
Diet Cola only. But one of the big ones is that there are incredible amounts of missing people in national parks. All right?
Where'd they go?
Yeah, I mean, it's an
No, who the
impossible
fuck
question
knows?
to
Yeah,
answer.
that was rhetorical.
But I'm going to start with probably the most prominent story, one that is kind of told in different ways, but at the end of the day is the most notable, I'd say.
All right, sounds good.
And that would be little Dennis Martin. All right?
I see the picture of him on your phone.
Yeah. Whew, in 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Martin was on vacation with his family in the Great Smoky Mountains.
Oh, my God.
He was in a popular spot called Spence Field. Okay?
Cool.
So they're hanging around the campfire at night. Parents are chit-chatting with other parents. They're having a good old rootin' vacation out in the Smokies. Dennis and his brother and 2 other kids thought it would be funny to pull a little bit of a prank on the adults, razz them a bit.
Yeah.
So what they were going to do is they were going to split up, hide, and then jump out and scare the parents when they stood up, okay?
Okay.
So that's exactly what they did. 3 of the boys went down one trail, and Dennis went down the other to, get a good hiding spot.
Yeah, seems like you shouldn't split up in the woods.
Yeah, so they all hid, but only the 3 jumped out. Dennis vanished, and that was the last time anyone had ever seen him.
That menace.
So, 6 miles from Spence Field, a young kid, a young boy, possibly, screamed.
Okay.
Screamed. And claimed that he saw at first what looked like a bear. But then it turned out that it was a bipedal man, as he described, a very large man with slinging arms and something strange slung over his shoulder. Okay? A frantic search party was engaged. By the next day, there were over 1,400 people in the search party. We're talking forest rangers, volunteers, Green Berets, the fucking FBI, the local cops. Everybody was fucking involved in this,
That's
right?
everybody, yeah.
So, weirdly enough, in the woods, there were small footprints that were believed to be Dennis's. Small little children-like footprints with matching shoes, according to, what his parents said he was wearing at the time.
Good.
Immediately behind those footprints were barefoot, adult, male-sized footprints.
Well, that's bad. Mm-hmm. No matter what the situation, that's bad.
Yeah. So while they're doing this, they're trying to get the FBI out to come and check it out, but in a very unfortunate turn of events, there's a torrential rainstorm, and it washes away the prints before the FBI can get there and take their pictures and whatnot.
Ain't that just the way she goes?
Yeah. So they didn't do that. So they dispatched the bloodhounds, and they found nothing. The scent and the trail had gone cold. Now, what's really fucking weird? The guy that was in charge of the FBI group, the commanding officer for them.
Yeah.
The guy that was running the charge, he actually committed suicide within a month.
Oh, my God.
Within a month of this situation, he committed suicide. And then one of the members of the Green Berets, named Harold Cleveland, he issued an official statement in 2014 like many, many, many decades later.
Yeah, this was, what was it, 65, you said?
69.
69.
Let me read you his entire thing, okay?
Okay.
Our special forces are never called to assist in civilian operation. That falls to the National Guard and approved by the state governor. The fact that they were armed as well is another huge no-no. During my command and every other mission I was aware of, we were not allowed by federal protocol to do either. Something is very wrong with this missing kid scenario. I've done some research on this case both while on active duty and after my retirement. The inside facts of this case depict a frightening investigation. Bottom line is that searching started within a few minutes of the boy's disappearance and lasted 3 months, with every resource imaginable being deployed. Don't even start with that bullshit. The terrain was difficult. There's holes and caves and cliffs and creeks, etc. Our special troops can find almost anything, anytime, and in any terrain. We have the highest technology available worldwide and easily the best training and real-world wartime and mission-specific experience that the normal civilian populace can scarcely imagine. After studying this case, the fact that no trace of the boy was ever found is mind-boggling. The Green Berets that were tasked in this search were there for a specific reason. They were armed for a specific reason. I can't and won't say why because my oath documents won't allow it, but I will remind you of these facts. Nationwide, there have only been 4 occasions where the Special Forces were brought in on a civilian missing person case. 2 of these involved a possible armed perpetrator. The other 2 were this case and another similar to it about 3 years later and regionally nearby. This is out of thousands of missing cases since the early 60s when our special troops were born.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, so essentially what he's saying...
He's bragging a lot, but he's making a lot of sense.
Yeah, essentially if you couldn't pick up what he was saying, something really fucked up was going on. The special forces were not deployed for things like this. Like he said, they'd only been deployed 4 times, and 2 of them were because there was a known armed perpetrator, and the other 2 were for disappearances in a national park in the Smoky Mountains. Okay?
Specifically the Smokies.
Specifically the Smoky Mountains.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Now, this has led to many different offsprings of theories. Whether it be, like Jake's, bless you, like Jake's stories of possible creatures, demons, monsters, cryptids, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
I thought you were going to mention James Caan again.
Maybe James Caan, as well as the idea of feral humans. A group of civilians that, are just fucking wild people, just Nells, a bunch of Nells living in the fucking
Nellcore,
living out there. But nobody really knows what happens to young Dennis. But the story is very fucking strange. It's slightly alarming, to say the very least, and maybe well, honestly, at this point, we're never going to know what happened.
Probably not. He's probably dead.
He disappeared. There were weird footprints. Special forces were called to search the woods with fucking guns. And the guy that ran the FBI investigation on this case committed suicide. We got some weird stuff going on.
That's a lot of strange things in a row.
All of this to look for a 6-year-old boy that just tried to play a prank on his parents.
And he didn't even do that right.
No, he didn't.
Come on.
The prank did not land. Did not land.
Or maybe he just pulled off the ultimate prank.
Watch this, guys.
Check this out. I'm going to disappear from the face of the fucking planet.
That would be pretty cool.
He's like, oh, fuck, he did it. I didn't know he was going to really do it.
But yeah, how about that one?
Fucking Dennis, dude. You want me to just hit you with my last one? You can play it out,
Yeah, well, just lay it on me, Daddy-O.
All right, hang on just 1 second here. Just 1 minute. Accept. It says, thank you for being a caregiver. Cool. All right, so this is yet another story at Yosemite, all right, National Park. And the individual who underwent this tale again wishes to remain anonymous. He doesn't even give a preferred name for the sake of storytelling. Kind of inconsiderate. This guy, he was 24 years old at the time. I'm going to call him, not Steve, damn it. I'm going to call him Tom. All right, Tom. He was a guy. He was 24 years old at the time, and he claims to have been a devout Catholic. And he was very straight edge, very totally sober Christian.
Okay.
So much fun at parties. He and his girlfriend at the time, they decided to take a hike in the beautiful Yosemite Falls.
Oh.
All right.
They're going to Second Base Point.
Dang right, boobies in the woods. It was a trail that he was very familiar with, So specifically, they were in the upper falls where Snow Creek intercepted the trail. All right, and the weather conditions, they were just perfect. All right?
Okay.
The couple, also completely alone on this particular trail, pretty romantic, like you said, second base. Around 4:30 or 4 o'clock, the two came to a small dip in the trail, all right, going down about 5 feet or so off in the distance, so the trail was going down on either side of them as they were dipping. It was also dipping. There was a dip. Okay? Dippage. Just as the two were passing through this area, they suddenly hear an absolutely blood-curdling scream off to their left.
Oh.
It always starts with a scream, these stories.
It does. It really does.
Sounding as though it had come from roughly 100 feet away, so it was, pretty nearby. This scream was so loud, piercing, and frightening that the hiker's girlfriend, I keep saying the hiker, his name is Tom now. Tom's girlfriend, he dropped her water bottle. So she must have been scared,
Well, she was a Christian, so, anything can scare them.
She hadn't gotten holy water,
Mm-hmm.
The two quickly looked over in the direction of the sound, because they could pinpoint where it was coming, unlike Steven. Unlike the other guy. Fuck, Spencer.
Yeah,
Spencer. Spencer Steven, and this guy's name is Tom now. They quickly look over in the direction, and they were frightened to see what appeared to be a large black man-shaped figure, another figure.
Oh.
All right? As the two looked on, they could make out all the features.
Make out?
Oh, God. This figure, he was dressed in and or just covered in fucking fur. So if it was a dude, he was wearing all fur, and if it wasn't a dude, this thing was furry. All right, all over its body.
Fair enough.
Not only this, but this thing was over 8 feet tall by the hiker's estimation, and even with the fur covering its entire body, the hiker, Tom, he could tell that this thing was extremely muscular. All right, it was crazy. Yoked Bigfoot is what I think, but also it also didn't seem to have any discernible neck.
Oh.
Its head just kind of came to a point, and there was no neck. It was just a continuation of its body.
I think that's a good. That's a good way to put it.
It's a good one, right? It's like a cone head, but necklace. All right, so the creature remained staring at in the couple's direction, and the two grew more and more uncomfortable. With no real way to defend themselves should this situation turn sour, the two decided to simply turn around and go back the way they came.
Okay.
Sort of a nothing story compared to the other ones, but you got to throw a Bigfoot story in there.
Yeah, I get you.
You got to throw Bigfoot in the mix because he deserves that. And that's all of mine. There's,
all right.
In national parks, huh?
I got one more, and then I'm going to leave you guys with one bit of just the skeptical side, okay?
All right. We hate that, but yeah.
You hate it, yeah, but, I mean, it's got to be said, We are going to talk about John Doe. That's who's going to wrap up our little tale here. All right, and just for the record.
What?
There's
Nobby's
yelling.
freaking out.
If you guys are fans of George Knapp, this story actually appeared on Coast to Coast at one point.
Oh, shit. All right.
So, according to the interview conducted on Coast to Coast, at the time, John Doe was a 3-year-old boy last seen near a fly fishing river. And then he promptly vanished for 5 hours, okay?
Okay.
A search party found him. He was kind of dazed, but he was unharmed, and he was in the middle of a bunch of trees. Okay?
Okay, just in the forest.
So he had a fucked up story to tell us. Are you guys ready?
In 5 hours.
So they asked him what had happened, and he said that he followed a woman who looked like his grandmother up to a mountain. He then found himself in a room that had a bunch of motionless robots and weapons laying all over a dust-covered floor.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Robots?
Motionless. They were just chilling.
Oh, okay. But, like, robots and fucking artillery and shit?
Yeah. So the boy claimed that he noticed a strange glow coming from the back of the old woman's head. Keep in mind, he thought this was his grandma. Then the story gets really weird. His grandma asked him to take a shit on a piece of paper.
Classic.
When he said no, she got really agitated and insanely aggressive. Okay?
I insist you defecate on this sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. The woman said that this is what she told the boy. She said that the boy was from outer space and that he was planted on purpose in his mother's womb. She then told him to go and wait in the trees and somebody will come get him shortly.
Technically, all of that's true.
Yeah. Nobody knows where he went, obviously, but they did find him later about 2 miles off from where he was supposed to be. So obviously it'd be easy to say that this was because of his imagination, right?
I guess, but that's pretty wild shit for a 6-year-old.
It gets weirder. Now, this is confirmed information. His grandmother, who actually was on the camping trip with him, keep in mind, this is who he thought he was following into the mountain.
Okay.
Ooh, she claimed that she was dragged out of her tent late at night. She woke up and had a strange pain on the base of her neck, and there were 2 small puncture wounds in the back of her head. How weird is fucking
Robot
that?
vampires.
Robot vampires.
Oh
How
my
fucking
God.
weird is that?
Wait, what national park was this?
Let me find out. I actually don't even know if I wrote that down.
Fuck.
Let me see.
I want to know where to maybe go. I don't know. I wanted to say not go, but robots? Come on.
Robots? Come on now.
Vampire robots at that?
Yeah, what are you going to do about that shit?
Inseminating you with microbes through your neck?
You know, it actually doesn't say. It doesn't say. It just says in the national park.
Well, it came up in the, in the topic of national parks. Maybe they're keeping that a secret, so we just keep going and find it eventually.
Maybe. I don't know. The room full of motionless robots and fucking grandmas asking you to poop on pieces of paper.
Yeah, it's like, I need it. It's like, for what?
Why not? Now, it's only fair to mention, and this has clearly been blown out of proportion thanks to the internet and different theories, it is important to note that national parks are not only are they untamed wilderness to a certain degree.
Sort of.
A lot of national parks, especially the larger ones, being Smoky and Yellowstone, Yosemite, places like that.
Grand Canyon.
They actually do rest upon and around some of the largest cave and underground tunnel systems in the country. So,
yeah,
it's only important to note that for the skeptics out there that don't want to believe, it's okay. No one's making you. But it's important to note that there are a lot of different factors that play into disappearances in national parks that don't necessarily have to do with the supernatural. I mean, let's face it, people get lost in grocery stores, okay?
Yeah, I remember those days.
So it's not impossible to get lost in a national park where even the park rangers may not know every nook and cranny, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's a big place.
Yeah, it's only fair to mention that because, I mean, honestly, it's just a part of life. You know, it's like that's what it is.
Part of life is not knowing where you are.
Yeah, exactly. So that it really is something that is important details there.
But I have heard like theories that some people think that people are being abducted there and put into like trafficking.
Oh yeah, and I would not be surprised that's happened at least 4 times.
At least 4 times.
At least.
Again, all those fucking kids found in Texas. Navi's going nuts about these traffickers.
He wants to go to a national park. He wants to be the one that gets lost.
I bet he'd love that.
He probably would love it for a while, but then he'd get really upset that his toys weren't there.
Yeah,
you know?
kill some small animals and make toys out of them. De-stuff those knobs.
Oh.
He de-stuffs every fucking toy.
No, he really
in this
does.
house.
He absolutely does. There's no denying that. But yeah, so it's you got to understand that like there are plenty of rational explanations, but it doesn't explain everything. It certainly does not.
Yeah.
And there's some very interesting tidbits to be found in there.
Yeah. So just be careful.
Yeah, be careful if you're going to a national park. Mitch is at a national park right now, so I don't know if he's going to hear this in time.
Where's he at?
But please be careful.
Which one?
I don't quote me on this. I think he's actually at the Smokies
Really?
or the Appalachia is one of those.
Well, either what we just talked about, you better look out for that stuff.
Yeah, he's out down that direction, so he's out there right now.
Wow.
Or maybe not right now. Maybe he's leaving tomorrow. I don't know. I think he's leaving tomorrow. I don't.
Something's happening. Everyone's going on trips.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But one thing about going on trips,
careful.
be fucking careful. Yeah.
Careful. But with that being said, I think that's effectively our episode for the day.
That's pretty much the episode. Yeah, that is by no means all the crazy stories from national parks.
Oh, no.
But it's some of them. You know, maybe we'll find some other cooler ones. Maybe we'll do another one of these episodes. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, we probably could. I mean, it could be a series for sure.
I was pretty surface level with my things.
Yeah, I just picked a couple of the things that were intriguing to me. Without being like just insanely drawn out stories that have no general conclusion.
All mine were just figures.
But I like that. I like a
good figure story. Yeah, go figure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, I think that's the show. That's great. I'm Jake. We are starting a cult, and you can follow us on all the shit. All right, it's Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we have a TikTok. It's wasec_pod. We also have an email, startacult@gmail.com. And there's a link for Patreon below. We're on YouTube. All that stuff is up there. Go like and subscribe. Listen to us anywhere you want. Tell everyone. Tell everyone. Everyone you know, just say like, hey, come on. And just nudge a phone towards them with us on it.
Do it.
Maybe just a photo of our logo. Either way, yeah. So we love you guys. We're here to talk about national parks and all this kind of stuff. Who knows what'll happen next week? Who knows? You don't. I don't.
No.
I don't even know if we'll be here.
No. We don't know. Goodbye, everybody. I love you.
Me too. Banana.